Demons are masters of masquerading. From my over 24 years of practical ministry experience, I was able to make a pattern out of the cases that I've been dealing with. These things I want to read out to us are indications that there is a spirit on assignment around your life to frustrate your life, to truncate your destiny, to blot out every strand of possibility around you, to take away beauty from you. The first indicator is what I call accident and mishap prone. Whenever you notice that you are accident or mishap prone, it's an indication of the fact that a demon has been sent on your case. Job 1:13. And there was a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And there came a messenger unto Job and said, the oxen were plowing and the asses were feeding beside them, and the Sabeans fell upon them and took them away. And yea, they have slain all the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, the fire of God is fallen from heaven and had burned up the sheep and the servants and consumed them, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, the Chaldeans made out 3 bands and fell upon the camels and have carried them away. Yea, they slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. And while he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, thy sons and thy daughters. Now let me leave that 18 there. I want to explain something with 18. Accidents, mishap. When you begin to see such patterns, it is highly suggestive of the fact that there is a demon, an intelligent personality that has been deployed to destabilize your life and to set up roadblocks against your possible achievement, attainment, fulfillment, or success. Especially when it is reoccurring, we have a strong case to say that there is a demonic person. Meanwhile, it will interest you to know that this account we just read is about Job. And those mishaps began to take place the moment the devil left the presence of God after negotiating with God to give him some allowance with Job, some latitude with Job, so that he could exploit Job and exploit his circumstance with the hope that Job will cause God to the face. So it was a competition that was taking place. God was bragging on Job, and Satan was given the liberty to test the loyalty of Job to God. And Satan was excited about it. The moment God gave him the permission, these items that we read about became the direct consequence of the devil's execution of the contract that he had with God. And the symptoms that we see are resultant effects of demonic activity. You know, I told you yesterday that even though demons are domiciled in the unseen realm, even though demons are persons without bodies, do not be confused. Demons are highly intelligent, and that's why when they speak into your thoughts, you don't even know that those thoughts are not yours. Demons are masters of masquerading. They can hide their personalities, they can hide behind the shadows, they can hide behind circumstances, they can hide behind situations, and you will blame everything, you will blame everyone except them. So in terms of being able to hide their personalities, they are masters of the game. He said, while he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house, and behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness. So whenever you see this pattern of this accident-prone pattern and mishap-prone pattern, it is suggestive of the fact that there is an intelligent entity that has been contracted to do damage around your life. And just in case you used to dwell in peace and in safety, it is suggestive. The situation is suggestive that you need to rise up and fight. Second symptom that demons are on your case is what we call the near miracle syndrome. Near miracle syndrome. Person almost got married and then something now happened. The moment it happens twice and a pattern has been created, don't go to the psychiatrist. Don't attend a class in philosophy. Look for how to expel devils. You are already in the center of a situation of warfare. Near miracle syndrome. Or you see someone that is so graced, someone that is so full of potential, but translating the potential into something worthwhile is almost an impossibility. You hit a brick wall anytime you begin to make motions for advancement. It is very highly probable that a demonic entity has been smuggled into the equation. We were in the university, and there was this guy that my friend went and brought. He was now with us, squatting with us in the room and all of that. Then we came one day and saw that he had drank, you know, those days, I don't know whether they still sell it. There's something they used to call shaving powder those days. Shaving powder. The guy had drank shaving powder to that. So when we came, we slapped him on the back and he vomited what he drank. And he was angry with us that we did not allow him to die. So when he calmed down, he began to tell us his story, that this was not the first university he has attended. He attended so place. And while he was advancing towards the end of graduating, he had a crisis. Went somewhere again, continued, was making some progress, about to finish first semester, second semester. Then they now brought him to Benue State University, and he joined us. And then the same symptoms that he used to know, the wind that normally comes, that incapacitates him, that makes him unable to finish anything he starts, has started mounting, has started gathering. So he couldn't take it anymore. He decided that before we come back from lecture that day, he would just kill himself, because there was no reason for him to live. We now began to interview him to know where the demons were coming from. And then it was not a secret to him. His father was a member of a secret cult. And his father wanted him to take his seat upon his deck in the cult, because that's the way of the cult, to keep the cult alive. Someone that is in your family must take your place, must bear your title, must carry your staff, must wear your ring, and must wear your robe. So it was time for him to be initiated so that he can be next in line to mount the father's throne. Oh man, I don't have time to tell you about his father. Then the guy said he's not going to inherit what the father was offering. The father brought 3 keys one day, 3 golden keys. It was by those 3 keys that he cursed that young man. So the guy is very intelligent. If he puts his hand to something, he can make so much creativity out of it. But you see, a wind begins to gather. When that atmosphere begins to form, it doesn't matter the height he has attained, he will not be able to accomplish it. And he felt so incapacitated in the face of that challenge that when he saw it forming the 3rd time, he just felt, okay, the best thing to do was for him to take his life. So there was no way, as intelligent as that guy was, there was no way he could achieve anything worthwhile, because there was a resistance that was placed in his way. This resistance was invincible, but it was potent enough to stop him, to immobilize him, to discourage him. And it could even bring him to the point where he was willing to take his life. It might be in the area of your career, it might be in the area of marriage. The first person comes, looks upon you and says, oh my God, what a beautiful damsel. Your open teeth is in alignment, and all kinds of good comments on your life. 2 weeks into the relationship, 3 weeks, it begins to go stale. And in the 4th week, the person blocks you on Instagram, blocks you on Facebook, blocks you on YouTube, blocks you everywhere, and blocks your number. Blocked everywhere. And then another time you are going home in a bus and you see someone, the person looks upon you and says, the conductor wanted to insult you. The person came into the fight and said, hey, you don't do that. And so when you drop from the bus, the person said, the reason why I was fighting is because you are clean. And when you begin to progress with it, you now notice there is this cloud that comes in and everything goes still. If you have seen that for about 2 times, it means we have an entity in this equation that we need to deal with. And the purpose of these lectures is to bring you to a point where we can deal with it. And indeed, it shall be dealt with. 3rd indication that demons are involved is that there is a pattern. You see a pattern. There is a science behind it. There's a science, a pattern. You know, the moment there is a pattern, it means that there's an intelligent personality that is behind it. There's a science, a consistent pattern. This is how it happened in this generation. This is how it happened in another generation. This is how it is beginning to happen in this generation. As long as there's a pattern behind it, it is suggestive of the fact that there is a spiritual entity that is taking advantage. No matter how medical science may make attempts to explain to you that your situation, that is how it is and all of that, if that thing is hereditary, if it becomes a pattern, then an intelligent personality is behind it, and we need to track the person down so that we can dispossess him of the space, the workshop that he's operating in. 3rd symptom is what we call cyclical situations or reoccurring situations. One thing keeps going and coming, keeps going and coming, keeps going and coming. If you give it some time, it will relapse, and after a while, it will rise again. If it becomes cyclical, you can even tell that it is April. During the month of April, it begins to come back. You see that situation, then it's highly probable that there is an entity behind it that we need to discover and we need to disarm. Unnatural and prolonged poverty. It is not as if you're a lazy person. You're not a lazy person. You are a hardworking person, active person. You even make attempts to put things together, to make things work. You try to pioneer things, to start things, and you meet with resistance so that you have been in a prolonged state of lack. It is a sign of resistance. It means that you are at war. Then finally, there is what we call heaviness. When that heaviness comes upon you, it's more than a mood swing. It cuts you off. But the Bible says to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called the trees of righteousness, the plantings of the Lord, that he might be glorified. The Lord wants you to be his planting. He wants you to become a tree of righteousness anywhere he plants you, so that you can install righteousness as your working principle in the marketplace, in your office area. What he wants to gain from nurturing your life is that you will become a tree of righteousness. He's ready to invest in those that mourn in Zion. He's ready to give beauty for ashes, ready to make available the oil of joy in the place of mourning. Just in case your situation is mourning. Demons don't want you to rejoice. Oh my God, there is enough provision for your case. There is an oil of joy that God has allocated to all those that mourn in Zion. You will think that Zion is not a place for mourning, But God knows that people will mourn in Zion, so he made preparation. For those that are caught up in ashes, he has a destiny of beauty. Those that mourn, he has manufactured the oil of joy. And those that are taken by the spirit of heaviness, the Bible says he has made a tunic available, a garment of praise, that they might be called the trees of righteousness, the plantings of the Lord, that he might be glorified.